All right, today we are diving into a really powerful story. It's all about human connection, those tricky professional lines we draw, and, what happens when someone finally sees us for who we really are.
So, let me ask you something. Can a single conversation really change your life? I mean, think about it. It's a huge question, right? And that idea, that's the absolute core of the story we're getting into today.
Okay, so our story kicks off at a university, and here we have two people who are basically living in separate universes. On one hand, you've got this seasoned, kind of walled-off professor, and on the other, a quiet, almost invisible student. Their paths are about to cross, and believe me, neither of them sees it coming.
All right, let's meet these two. First up is Professor Eliza Hart. She's built her entire career on keeping people at a distance. Yeah, she's respectable, she's successful, but she's also completely shielded herself from everything. And then there's Evan Cross. He's this student who's just defined by this quiet, stubborn endurance. You get the sense that life has taught him that patience isn't just a virtue, it's a survival tool.
And get this. This little detail just says everything about Eliza. Her office? It's not this warm, welcoming place. Nope, it's purely functional. And that door that's always half open? Well, that's not an invitation to come in. It's actually a barrier, a way to keep everyone at arm's length. It's in this super controlled space that everything is about to get turned upside down.
So this brings us to the inciting incident, the moment that just kicks everything off. And it's not what you'd expect, It's not a student asking for a better grade or more time on a paper. It's a request for something way, way rarer and a whole lot more powerful. So Evan comes to Eliza for a recommendation letter, right? For this super competitive Stanton Fellowship. And this is what he says. He doesn't ask her to puff him up or say nice things. He asks for the truth. And bam, with that one single sentence, he just slices right through all her professional armor and talks directly to the person she used to be.
So Eliza starts going through Evan's file, and a picture starts to emerge. His grades? They're good, but not perfect. And you can see these interruptions, these dips that tell a story of struggle. And then she sees it. He's working a full-time job on top of a full course load. When she asks him how he does it, his answer is just, wow, because I don't have time not to. It's so simple, but it reveals this life of just nonstop, relentless persistence. And here it is. This is the moment everything pivots. This one line from his personal essay is the key that just unlocks the whole story. It's not him asking for pity, it's just a quiet, factual statement about what it's like to go through life completely overlooked. And for Eliza, a woman who has literally built her career on observing people from a safe distance, this is a direct hit, a challenge she just can't walk away from.
Okay, so she's hooked, intrigued, maybe even a little shaken up. She agrees to write the letter, but with a condition. She says they have to meet once a week to work on his application. And then she lays down the law, that final, critical rule. This stays professional. You can just feel her trying to put those walls back up, right? Trying to force this unexpected thing into a box with nice, safe, familiar boundaries.
So, you have this professional arrangement. How does that work out? Well, what starts as these formal meetings, it quickly morphs into something way deeper. It becomes this slow, gradual discovery of two people who, it turns out, have a whole lot more in common than either of them ever realized.
As they keep meeting, you just see the layers start to peel away. Evan says something simple like, life started early, and suddenly his quiet maturity makes perfect sense. They start talking about philosophy and find this common ground, this shared way of seeing the world. But the real shift, that happens when he starts asking her questions about her life, her choices, how she sees people, and just like that, it's not a mentorship anymore. It's a real conversation between two equals.
Then one day, after a meeting, Eliza finds that Evan left his notebook behind. And inside, she finds a line that just stops her in her tracks. It perfectly describes what's happening between them. It's not love, it's not romance. It's just the simple, incredibly powerful act of being seen. And in that moment, she gets this jolt. She realizes that something really big, and maybe even a little dangerous, has started.
And I want you to pay attention to the dialogue right here. Eliza admits that her old belief in potential has kind of hardened into a belief in just persistence. And Evan, he doesn't argue. He just agrees. It's this moment of totally raw, unvarnished reality. It's just two people speaking the exact same language, a language that you only learn through experience.
And that brings us to this huge turning point. The letter is done. It's been sent. The official reason for them to keep meeting is gone. And suddenly there's this quiet, tense moment hanging in the air where they both have to confront what this connection between them actually is.
So this is the final line Eliza writes in his recommendation. And sure, on the surface, it's a huge endorsement for Evan. But if you listen closely, it's really a confession about herself. He didn't just impress her. He woke up a part of her she thought was dead and buried. That letter, it's just as much about her own reawakening as it is about his future.
So with the official business out of the way, you can feel Eliza trying to put that wall back up, trying to redraw that boundary that's gotten so blurry. She actually says her fear out loud, trying to put a name to this unspoken intensity that's been building. This is her last-ditch effort to retreat back to the safety of just being the professor.
And this is it, really, the emotional climax of the whole thing. Evan's response is just brilliant. He doesn't get defensive. He just calmly and clearly defines what he feels. He totally gets her fear, and he gives her an answer that honors their connection without stomping all over her boundaries. It's not romance, he's saying. It's gratitude. Gratitude for being seen.
And that right there, that's the heart of this entire story. The word is recognition. And we're not talking about attraction or even friendship in the usual sense. We're talking about the act of one person looking at another and seeing all of them, their past struggles, where they are right now, and all the potential of who they could become, all in one single glance.
And so, finally, we get to the resolution. All that tension just dissipates. The stakes are settled, and a new kind of future for them, one built on respect and really clear boundaries, is just gracefully put into place.
Then the news comes in. Evan got the fellowship, and it's a 2-year program, which sounds like a small detail, but it's actually incredibly important. Why? Because it means their time as professor and student is officially, definitively over. That number, 2, it creates this perfect, necessary, and respectful amount of space. And honestly, this is just such a masterful way to resolve the story. Evan's simple offer, let's get coffee. It puts their next meeting in a safe, appropriate future. When he comes back, he's not her student anymore. They'll be equals. It's a promise of a future friendship that totally respects the professional lines of the present. And Eliza's simple yes, it shows she gets it, and she's ready for that new dynamic.
So what's the big takeaway here? I think the story leaves us with this really beautiful, kind of profound thought. Real, profound change in our lives, it doesn't always have to be this big, dramatic event. Sometimes, the moments that alter our path forever are the quietest ones, the simple, powerful, and deeply human act of one person truly, clearly seeing another.